Spring almost sprung today on Let's Cook.
He was doing it with like 2 hot plates or induction burners and not even a true sink behind. It was very rudimentary. And as the years progressed, then a full studio and so on. So I think people kind of grew with him. I think he started wearing a full chef coat and a toque and, a full uniform. And then as the years went on, he was traveling with the show and it was casual. He would wear a button-down shirt sometimes. So people kind of progressed with his cooking.
He did tend to have a bit of a temper, so he would get a little upset, like if something burnt in the pan or something burnt in the oven. But no, otherwise he would, bloopers were actually like few and far between, really.
It was really great to have a father that could cook so well. He brought so much to every celebration, to every holiday. He actually made me a huge food snob, which can be a little frustrating.
Hi, welcome to Let's Cook today. I love the winter. I love to ski. I love winter sports, but I also like spring. And I love that fresh air that comes in and you get to wear lighter shoes and lighter clothes and you feel better. And the food you make is also lighter too. So that today's theme is spring is almost sprung, or almost spring today on Let's Cook. First item we're going to do a very simple salad. I'm going to use some mesclun mix. Along with that mesclun mix, I have some nice little zucchini here that I'm going to take, and I'm not going to julienne this or anything. I'm just going to cut this in nice little circles like this, okay? And a lot of times, I can actually go faster sometimes if I don't look at what I'm cutting. The only thing I have to be careful of is my zucchini might fly all over the place. So, again, nice and slow. We want nice, thin slices just like this, see? Nice little thin slices. Now we're going to take the zucchini. We're not going to serve it raw. We're actually going to blanch it. So I have some boiling salted water right here. And I simply take the zucchini and I drop it into the water, salted water. And all we're going to do is we're going to blanch this. So we're really not going to cook this. Just see that nice bright green color coming through? Perfect. Then we take this, drop it into some nice cold water. That will lock in the color, stop the cooking process. But again, we're not cooking. We don't want to lose too many of those water-soluble vitamins. Once it's like this, we'll just take it this way. Take a towel, put it on the towel once it's shocked, and blot any of that water that's on these because we want this nice and dry. This is also going to set up the zucchini to absorb the dressing that we're going to make as well, which we're using grapeseed oil, which is a great oil to use. It's nice. It's really nice and light. It's a great oil to use. So these are good to go now. Now, the other thing I'm going to do right now is I have some red onions here and some tomatoes. I have my wonderful balsamic vinegar I'm using here. So I'll take a little bit of balsamic there. My grapeseed oil here. Beautiful. Just like that. A little bit more. And again, this is emulsifying, but this will separate because after a while it will separate. So if you're going to make this, you need to use it right away when you're going to do this. Okay, let's taste this now, see how it tastes. Beautiful. Taste of grapeseed there. You need the salt to bring it out. You need a little bit of pepper here. And I would like just a little bit more acid in here. So I thought I had a lemon in my refrigerator. I didn't. The lemon is over here. So we'll just take our lemon. Keep our lemon lucky here. Bless that. A little bit of lemon. In addition to that, because a lot of times we do things a little impromptu, I'm just going to take a little bit of lemon zest here too. This is going to kind of bring it together. And we'll just take the lemon zest and cut this up too. Beautiful. Add that lemon zest. Now the lemon zest, I'm actually going to add right to my salad here. So somebody will get a bite of this and they'll taste that. Okay, good. Now, with our dressing here, I'm going to take just a little bit of the dressing here and just drizzle this over our salad here. About 1/3 of it. Then my remaining dressing, I'm going to add some nice diced tomatoes here. Beautiful orange tomatoes. You can tell spring has sprung. A little bit of red onion here. Parsley. A little bit of parsley. And, of course, my zucchini. Now, remember, this zucchini was blanched. It's nice and dry. We just toss this together this way. Doesn't this look great? Out of this world. And again, notice I have no extra dressing left. It's all being absorbed. Then we'll just take this and we'll bring this right around our mescaline mix here. You could use mosh. By the way, if you wanted to use yellow zucchini for this or yellow squash, any squash family you could use for this, but we'll just bring this all the way around the salad here. And here we have a delicious family style, spring is almost sprung, salad. Out of this world. You know, we're going to take a little break right now. And then when we come back, we're making risotto, so don't go anywhere. Spring had definitely sprung on Let's Cook. We have the salad there, risotto time. To make the risotto, this is a caramelized risotto, caramelized shallot risotto. Here we are. I'm here. I'm good. To make the risotto, first thing we do, a little bit of olive oil in the pan. Along with the olive oil there, I'm going to add some shallots, whole nice small shallots, and a little bit of butter here. There we are. Now we're going to let this just kind of brown up a little bit. The butter's going to help those shallots caramelize. It's going to produce a great flavor. Then we're going to add the risotto to this. There's a step to making risotto. You know, you have rice pilaf, you have risotto. Risotto, there's a certain method involved in making risotto. You can use any rice to make risotto. As a matter of fact, right here on this plate here, I have 3 different rices. I have the arborio rice here, which is the flat short grain Italian rice. That's used for risotto. I have some brown rice here, and then I have some long grain white rice. The risotto produces a very creamy rice. So, see in my pan here, see how my shallots are already starting to brown up here a little bit? Absolutely. And this way, when you eat the risotto, you get this nice, sweet, succulent shallot. Do you see that one? It just jumped in the pan there. Out of this world. Okay, now, before my butter burns now, I'm going to go ahead and add my risotto to this. This is a short grain Italian arborio rice. When you make risotto, just as when you're making pilaf, it's very important to cook the rice on all sides. So what I would do normally is you would cook this for about 3 or 4 minutes, cooking that rice on all sides. That way it's going to release starch evenly, it's going to absorb liquid evenly, and it's also going to get a delicious flavor. Once you've sauteed the rice a little bit, now I just add enough white wine to cover my rice. We add the white wine to cover the rice there. And then we're going to use a chicken stock and some Romano cheese. And then we finish it with toasted pine nuts at the end. And, of course, the butter and the olive oil were used to saute the risotto. Now, here's the trick. When you're making risotto, use a wooden spoon. When you can take the wooden spoon and you can pull it across the risotto and you can see the bottom of the pan with no liquid, almost like that. See how where I come across here and I can almost see the bottom of the pan and no liquid there for just that second? That tells me it's now ready for stock. My stock is nice and hot. I take a little bit of stock like this. I add just enough to cover my rice again. Here I gently stir this. I don't leave it. Once that liquid gets absorbed, then I add another ladle or 2 of stock. I keep doing that. It's going to take me about 20, 25 minutes to get this risotto done, but I add a little bit of liquid at a time. You don't put in all the liquid at one time. And that gives you a really creamy textured rice. As a matter of fact, I have some right here. And if we go into this pot, you can see where the rice has maintained its shape, maintained its integrity, but it almost looks creamy and it's glistening. Once it gets to this point, this is when we would take and we would add our Romano cheese to this and some pine nuts that we just toasted in a saute pan. This is going to give us an additional flavor and additional texture. Doesn't that look great? Let's go back to the original one here because this is almost ready for a little bit of liquid now. See here? Nice and gently simmering. Almost see the bottom here. Cook this a little bit. Gently stir it. Wooden spoon. A little bit more stock in there. Just my heat, just so it barely simmers. And that's going to develop the starch of the rice nice and evenly. Out of this world. I love risotto, and you can use a lot of different things to flavor risotto. You really can. So, just going to take a few chives here. Going to take these chives. I'm going to cut them about 1 inch long. Leave my nice ends there. This I will also now fold into my risotto here. They'll impart and bring out just a little flavor. Remember, we have the shallots in there and everything else. This is now ready to serve. Take this, put this right here in my bowl. Oh, delicious, wonderful, rich, sweet because of the shallots. Texture, crazy, pleasing, wonderful, out of this world. I don't know what else I could say. Risotto. We just took about 5 minutes to show you how to make risotto. It will take you about 25 minutes. We're going to take a little break. And it's cod cakes up next. Don't go anywhere with me, right? Hi, welcome back to where spring is almost sprung. Now it's time for our cod cakes. Right here, I have a beautiful piece of cod right here. You could use haddock. You could use halibut. Really nice and fresh. And all I'm going to do with this is season this with a little bit of salt and pepper. Drizzle it with just a little bit of olive oil, which I have right over here, and pop this in the oven. Now, when I cook the fish in the oven here, I'm doing this just to make cod cakes. So all we would do now is put this on this plate right here. I'm going to pop this in the oven. It's going to take roughly, per inch of thickness, about 10 minutes at 350 degrees. So that'll be in there exactly 10 minutes. Now, I already have one done right here, and you can see where this is right here, where it's just flaking apart. It's just very nicely cooked. To make my cod cakes, it's very easy. I'm going to use the cod here. Let's go over the rest of the ingredients as well. I have some onions here. I have some fresh white breadcrumbs, a little bit of grated Romano cheese, pecorino, or locatelli is also fine, an egg, a little bit of parsley here, and some butter. The first thing that I have to do is I have to take a little bit of the butter here. I'm going to put this in a saute pan, and I'm actually going to saute up the onions. The reason we're going to saute the onions is because we just need to get rid of that raw flavor if we're going to use them in these cod cakes. So you really need to take that extra step to do that. So we saute our onions here, let them start to saute a little bit. All we want to do is get rid of that sulfur, the sulfur onions, part of the cabbage family. You need to cook off a little bit of that sulfur. So we'll let that saute up a little bit. In the meantime, we take our fish just like this. Going to take a little bit of breadcrumb here. And because I always adjust my breadcrumb, take my egg right here, my cheese, and my herbs right here. Now, going to wait just for a second now because I'm actually have enough time today where I can show you how to cut parsley or how to cut herbs. Sometimes if you have fresh parsley like this, and this has already been washed, and you should wash it and get it nice and dry. When you go to cut parsley, you go to cut an herb, especially something like this with parsley, you need to take and make it into a very tight bundle like this. When it's at a tight bundle, then what you do is you barely cut it at all. Just keeping it nice and tight. You regroup every once in a while, holding it really well together. And you see how nice and small my parsley already is right here? So that way, when I then go to chop it this way, it chops up very quickly, very easy. So the other thing that I'll do sometimes with my knife, and I'll show you this with the knife right now, is I'll make a rocking motion. So instead of holding my knife hard on the board and coming this way, I hold my hand a little bit above the knife so that when I go back and forth, I get a cutting motion both ways. So coming up and down, it cuts the parsley. See? And it can actually save you a lot of time in the kitchen. Okay, good. So take our parsley. We'll use our parsley in here too. Now let's take a look at the onions here because my onions are nicely done here. Shut these off. The onions, remember, everything is already cooked in here now except for the egg. So we're just going to add our onions to this end. You have to have be able to take the heat. But all I'm going to do is break my fish up here a little bit like this. Beautiful. With the onions there. And then once I can do this, I use my hand like a little Roboku. There we are. That's it. I need just a little bit more breadcrumb in here just to help bind this together. Beautiful. Now, to form our cakes, just get a plate right here. To form our cakes, what we would then do, remember the fish was seasoned, just take it, form them this way, put them onto a plate. We're going to put these in the refrigerator to firm up. Okay, let me just, and because I already have some firmed up in the refrigerator right over here, but you would just take these, cover them, put them in the refrigerator, come back over here. I have some right here now. To cook these, you'll notice I did not use all of my butter because in my pan right here, I already have a few going. What I'll do is I'll simply take a piece of butter and I'm going to add a little bit of butter right around here. I'm going to slide these crab cakes over. The butter has got to heat up so that, and the butter, what the butter is going to do is it's going to allow me to brown these nicely. Again, this is not low fat. Also, take a look at this crab cake right here. You can see how nice and firm it is now. Cod cake. Did I say crab cake? Well, you know something? You can actually use this recipe. This is a great recipe for crab, as well as cod, as well as haddock, as well as salmon, as well as for almost any fish out of this world. Now, going to just want to get a little bit more heat on here. And then when we brown these, now these are the new ones that I put in. You'll notice I did not overcrowd the pan. These right over here, I already started to brown before. You see how nice these are? Beautiful. And you can actually brown these, and then, because the fish is already cooked, you can actually take these and finish them in the oven. It's going to work just as well, or you can just do them right in the pan here. You don't need to dredge them in breadcrumbs or anything else at all because they already have the breadcrumb in the filling. And again, we're using nice fresh breadcrumbs. We don't want the brown part of the breadcrumbs at all, just nice breadcrumbs that was made from bread that contain no fat at all. These look good, don't they? Okay, nice and crispy, nice and crunchy. I'm going to continue cooking these. We're going to take a little break, and then when we come back, spring has sprung, almost sprung. Anyway, on Let's Cook Today. We'll be right back. Hi, welcome back to Let's Cook. I was just looking at my cod cakes here now. These are perfectly done now. They're nice and brown. I'm just going to take these and put these on absorbent paper toweling. Now, in the bottom of the dish here, or the pan that we cook them in, we have some real nice flavor in here. So we're going to actually make a little bit of what might be called a bernoisette, which means we take whole butter and we brown it till it's a hazelnut color. So let me just get my cod cakes out of the way here. Now what I'm going to do with the pan here is I'm just going to take and pour off, some of the butter here. A little bit of it, just a little bit. Good. I still have flavor in the bottom of the pan. I'm going to heat my pan up now. To this now, I'm going to put in a little bit of butter there. Okay. Along with that butter, I'm going to add a little bit of white wine. Along with the white wine, I'm going to put in just a little bit of lemon juice too. So we get our lemon juice in there. Oh, beautiful. Alrighty. Gonna stir this around. Let this start to almost brown up. Okay, see how it's emulsifying there? It's just about to start browning. I'm going to shut this off. This is now good to go. Now I can set up my entire plate for our almost spring menu today. So we'll just take a little bit of our salad here with a little bit of the zucchini and a red onion. Beautiful salad. Then we have our risotto right here. Beautiful, delicious risotto. And again, this sauce, this butter sauce will go very good with the risotto as well. Then my crab cakes, again, I said crab cake. I meant cod cake. Oh, goodness. If those people in Chatham ever hear me call my cod cake a crab cake, I'll get in trouble. Chatham is up in Massachusetts, but I actually grew up in Chatham. Okay, and then we just need a little bit of a spoon right here. Oh, one other thing I forgot. At the very end, a little bit of parsley in there. Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, again. Just going to take a little bit of this wonderful butter sauce right on top there. Has the flavor of the wine, flavor of the fish cakes, and of course, flavor of the whole browned butter. I love when seasons change. I love it when I get to go to the market and there are new things in the market, like the baby zucchini here, or we make risotto. We make a nice, well-balanced meal. You know something? You eat a cod cake like this with a little bit of this sauce. It's out of this world. You definitely know that spring has almost sprung today on Let's Cook. Thank you so much for watching. You have a great day, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.